So CES 2025 just wrapped. I am getting back a little later than probably all the other YouTubers in my main group because I drove, I wasn't flying, so I decided I should probably stick around for a couple extra days and give myself a little bit of a rest before driving all the way back to California, especially because we had the news of all those crazy fires and stuff. So I'm a little bit late to getting back to work. And to be honest with you guys, I really wasn't there with the full intent of just like capturing a bunch of stuff to make a ton of videos. This was my first convention, so I know how overwhelming they can be from friends of, warning me and things like that. Several of these different booths can be in like 5 different buildings all spread across Vegas, and they do shuttle you back and forth, but you have to keep in mind how many people are at these things, which means, even like going like 5 miles up the street one day took us like 45 minutes, and when you have appointments with brands and companies, you really don't want to be late to those things, so it just kind of gets a little hectic. And because I was really there just to catch up with some friends, learn how to do a convention, and talk to some of these companies, it really wasn't the main focus of why I went there. But at the same time, I do realize that I kind of slacked pretty hard in December with uploads. The whole family got sick really bad with something called the norovirus. If you know what that is, it is no fun. And when you have little ones, you drop everything. That's the priority. And then, of course, we got hit with the holidays. However, luckily for me, a lot of my friends decided to have a big open Google Drive. So everybody that was gathered together that were in the same areas, we were all taking footage of the same stuff. Lots of people ended up with some extra footage. So I want to shout out those people, and I will make sure that I tag people down below that helped me out with that. But we did see something that I wanted to make a video about today, and that is the Zotac Zone, which I know has been out for a little bit now, but not many people have actually had a chance to get their hands on it due to the fact that you can only get it at an in-store pickup in Micro Center. And for many people, driving to Micro Center could be like a 4 or 5 hour drive. And so for them, that's just not something they're willing to do, because if they buy the thing and they don't love it, I mean, then you have to go all the way back to return it, or even if you have like an issue or something. But they also showed us their new Zotac Zone prototype that they're calling it. I'm hesitant to refer to it as the Zotac Zone 2, and we'll get into that in the video. So I'm just going to start rolling the clips, and I'll kind of tell you what I saw. Now, for the prototype at the moment, we have the Ryzen AI 9 HX370 with those built-in 890M Radeon graphics, 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5X memory with a full-size 1 terabyte M.2 SSD. Now, the real star of the show for me was this 7-inch AMOLED 1080p display with 120 hertz and 800 nits of peak brightness. Both the triggers and the joysticks are Hall effect, but the trigger have a 2-stage stop, which is pretty cool. And at the moment, the battery was a 48.5 watt hour battery, but that is subject to change. Now, I personally have always been a fan of the design and styling of the original Zotac Zone, and this looks identical, just with some color changes, but it has like a fighter jet looking appearance to me, which I think is super cool. And you can see that here with this little flap out kickstand that we have. Little bit of RGB touch in the back, as well as those paddles on the back that I didn't mention earlier. But the thing I like is everything has like a brushed metal look to it. It just makes it feel and look super premium. Even this little dial here that you can program inside their software for various different things, and the metallic touch underneath the bottom of the joystick just feels really cool. Now, one thing that I absolutely adore is this D-pad, and I know people are kind of concerned about it. Let me just say that a friend of mine let me use his in his hotel room. I played a ton of fighting games with it. It is very clicky, but it feels really awesome. And maybe that's a personal opinion, but I wouldn't be scared about it. Now, the display on this is, again, an AMOLED panel at 800 nits brightness, and these colors just absolutely pop. It's just such a good looking display. I don't even think anyone would really fully need that 800 nits brightness. It's 120 hertz at 1080p. I didn't get any confirmation if the final one would be a variable refresh rate. I would really like to see something like that, so that way we could, not see so much when it comes to dips and things like that. As far as performance, I didn't get a chance to mess with any TDPs or anything. So I was just kind of using it in the case scenario where I was just seeing what it felt like in the hand, but it did look like it was performing quite well. This is something that I'm really looking forward to. It is a Windows-based handheld. We do have those trackpads, but being based on a Ryzen platform, I think it would be pretty easy to get Bazite running on this if that's something that you were interested in. And I just like this white color. It's a true white. It's not like the Steam Deck where it was kind of like a gray white. And I'm just really loving this device. I think maybe if you guys show enough interest, I might pick up an original Zotac Zone to spend some time with as well. The main trouble with this one here is they're going to need to get this more available. Right now, with the Zotac Zone, again, you can only pick it up at Micro Center. If they could do something like work out a deal where you could either buy directly from them and ship to home, or maybe partner with Amazon, that would probably make this thing really popular. I know with that new HX370 that's in here, it should be pretty power efficient. They did have a 48.5 watt hour battery in the device that we're using, but they said a lot of this is up in the air still. I know efficiency might help with that, but I'd still like to see it maybe something like a 60 or 70. You don't have to go all the way to the 80 watts that's in something like the Ally X, I think, to get a good, battery life out of something like this. But the main thing that won me over is just ergonomics and design. I'm a big that sounded weird. I'm a big ergonomics guy. I love the Legion Go, but I just cannot use it. It's not comfortable to me. Same thing with the original Ally. I just felt very uncomfortable. So this would be something that would have maybe even a little bit more power than those devices. But I found it to be really comfortable, and the screen just absolutely blew me away. Now, if this is something that you guys are interested in, comment down below. Tell me if you think I should maybe pick up a regular Zotac Zone before grabbing this. They may be kind enough to send out a review unit, but again, it was a prototype, so everything was very up in the air. I was just thankful that they let us use it. So that's going to about wrap it up for this video. I apologize that I didn't really have more. Like I said, the goal of CES was really not to get a bunch of videos. I know that's what a lot of people do, but that's not what I was there for. I did have a couple friends I wanted to thank. I wanted to thank ETA Prime for getting me in the room with Zotac, as well as letting me get hands-on with his Zotac Zone the night before so I could get familiar with it, and for providing footage. Same goes to Scatterbrain, or Josh at Scatterbrain. He captured a lot of the footage that I wasn't able to grab of myself playing, and Baldly Rudy as well for the same thing. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to leave those guys linked down below. Make sure you check them out, give them some love, and let me know what you want to see the next video on.